Hey, folks. Dave here in Studio B again. And yeah, I got my Florida Panther shirt on. I dug this out. I've had this for years and years and years. I used to play hockey with this on, when we played pickup hockey or whatever it was. But I figured I'd dig it out here um, and just wear that tonight. I had a Vegas t shirt. My uncle went to Vegas when the first team first got to Vegas. And, um, and so he picked me up a Vegas t shirt, and I can't find it. So I didn't tell him that, but I can't find it. Anyway, I'd like to welcome everybody here tonight. Uh, just a couple things I want to go over tonight. Um, as you can see, the title here, it's thankful for some things and being thankful. And there's a bunch of things I just want to talk about tonight. This is kind of more therapy for myself than it is anything else. So if you get bored, you can leave, whatever. But um, yeah, so I'll start with the bad news. If there's bad news, um, we're all older people in this hobby. Let's just face it, okay? And every day I see people, on Facebook and on the Delphi forums or wherever, and they have their medical problems. Let's just say, and I feel for those people, and I see people saying, "Oh, I'm playing in the hospital, I'm playing my games in the hospital." And or I just get out of surgery, I'm recovering from this, or I got to go in for that, I'm having some tests. And let's face it, we're an older community for the most part, and so we're all going to have our issues. And yeah, it's kind of my turn. Some of you might know that 3 years ago I did have surgery on my heart. It wasn't open heart, but it was a procedure on my heart to try to get the rhythm normal. And so they did that, and it worked for a while. But now I think I'm on a rhythm again, so to speak. And it really bummed me out because when I get done that surgery, I says I'll never go through that surgery again. I don't want to go through that again. I really don't. Not that I want to die, but I don't want to do it again. And so I've been dragging all week long, dreading calling the doctor and the whole bit. Um, but there was a little bit of hope today. I got the Apple Watch there that goes off, and whatever. And that actually chimed in and said that I was back in rhythm. And so I was kind of excited about that. And for the first time in a while, it's okay. Well, maybe that's just gonna be how it's gonna be for me. Is that I'm gonna bounce in and out of rhythm. And I know there's a lot of people that go through that too. But for a while there, I was panicking. Not gonna lie, I was panicking, and I did not have a good week because of it. I'll promise I'll get to the good stuff here. This is not going to be just a wowsy woozoo type of thing here, by the way. But I was really bummed out. In fact, we postponed the podcast a day this week. We did one yesterday, but we were supposed to do it Wednesday, and I just said, Ron, I'm just not in the mood to do it. And so I was really bummed out about that. And not that I'm out of the woods, and not that I think everything's going to be fine, but there was a little bit of hope when I checked my watch today, and things are beating normally again. So but it's just worrisome when you're sitting there. Like I could be sitting here now and my watch goes off and says I'm on a rhythm, and I don't like that. Now, the good news is it's not racing. That's when people get in real problems. When your heart races at 200 beats a minute, that's when you're going to, have problems. It just goes out of rhythm, which is not good either. But there was a little bit of hope today when I checked and I was back in rhythm. So anyway, that got me thinking. As we got a couple of people here in the chat, Steeler fans stopping by, Jeremy and Doug right now watching the show. So I was pretty bummed out about that. And then last night, was it last night or the night before? I forget which night it was. Must have been last night. And I started to cut my shootout cards. Okay, my shootout cards here. So I pulled out the 2023 season for shootout. Okay, and I started just cutting them here on the channel, kind of like ID does. Well, sometimes some other people will do their cards here, and I was just kind of chilling out doing that. And so again, I get the 2022-23 season for shootout hockey. All righty. And I ended up playing a couple of games. And I played the Boston Florida series, and Boston ended up winning it in my replay there. But it was a fun series to play, and I played Shootout EZ is what I played. And then right next to me, I had the 1974-75 season, okay, which is one of my favorite seasons to play. And what was really ironic about it is, no joke, I hadn't, oh boy, this is kind of weird. Um, couple of these cards are really, really small here. Hopefully I didn't screw anything up. Oh, well. Um, anyway, so I had the sheets over here and they were uncut. And PJ was in the room kind of talking, and he talked about the 74, 75 North Stars. And lo and behold, the North Stars were on the top of the list. All right. He was talking about the goalies here, how they were rated, and the offense here and the whole bit. And then he was talking about the Capitals, but Minnesota was right on the top. And I was like, you got to be kidding here. It was like a kind of a sign. I looked over and said, I haven't cut 75 yet, but they're all printed. So I cut them here live on the channel. Minnesota was on the top, and that was what PJ was talking about, the 74, 75 North Stars. And then it struck me, and it kind of brought me out of my bad mood. It was like, something? I can play the current season, or I can play the past, one of my favorite seasons. And I thought how cool that was, and how we take that for granted in our community, and what we do with gaming is we take a lot of things for granted. We just do. And I don't know what it was, but I had, the modern season and a past season, and I went through all the teams, and I was like, oh man, I can't wait to play this. I've only played a couple of games, and it just got me thinking that, I am just so thankful that I'm in a position that I can play the past and I can play the modern seasons as well. And so I just want to kind of go over a few things that I've been kind of thankful for lately. And when you go through health problems, things, your perspective on life changes, and sometimes it gets for the worse, and sometimes it's for the better. And so I'm trying to draw some strength from Marco Scola, who we had on the show, and he just did a live premiere tonight, and I just caught the end of it, so I'm going to go back and watch it. But if you get a chance, go to Marco's channel and watch his latest premiere that he did. He was talking about setting up seasons or something like that. I only caught the tail end of it, but I draw some influence maybe from him. Maybe that's not the right word. Inspiration. And so I said, okay, I'm thankful for a lot of things, and I just kind of wanted to talk about them here. Okay, I'm not dying or anything, I don't think. I mean, you never know, but just thinking about that. So I guess the first thing I'm thankful for is the ability to play these games. The idea that I can play the 75 North Stars or the 2022 Boston Bruins. I'm really thankful for that. I'm thankful for all the games that I have. All my APBA games over here, all the box stuff over here, all different games. Some are Downey games, and some are, the Al Wilson game was over there as well. The Solitaire Pro Football, all games like that. All the play games that I got. I played some golf, and they're awesome, and they're really good games to play. And I'm so thankful that all these people and all these companies are making these games. I'm thankful that App is cranking out seasons that I can buy. I wish Strat would have more, because I like my Strat baseball. But just thankful for the games that I can play. Thankful for the seasons that I can play. Because I'm not limited to just the current season. Like when you play video games, you buy it in your current season only. So I'm really thankful for that. I'm really thankful for the podcasts we got going. I mean, next month we're wrapping up 4 years of Digital to Dice, and we'll be starting year 5. I mean, did not think we'd be going 4 years in that podcast. I didn't have an end date. I didn't, or anything, but we started the podcast, Ron and myself. Ron didn't even want to do it. I don't know if you've heard the story of the podcast, but Ron didn't want to do the podcast. He didn't. He, when I was talking to him about it, I said, Ron, I'm thinking about doing a video show about my transition from digital video games to dice and on the table. And I says, I think I'm going to do a podcast on it, because I had left the video game podcast, and Philip Reynolds stops by here on a Friday night and say hi. So I left the video game podcast that I did for 10 years, I think it was. And because I didn't play video games anymore, really. Not like the Maddens and the Call of Duties. That's kind of what I was playing on the PlayStation or whatever. And he's like, I don't know if I want to do it. I got a lot of things going on. I'm busy with all this other stuff. He goes, but I'll do a couple episodes with you. And so we did a couple episodes and it went over well. And I was like, I don't know if anybody's going to listen to this, but we'll do it anyway. Let's do a couple of shows and put them up and see how it goes. And we did a couple of shows and the feedback was good. And so we did a couple more shows and feedback was good. And then it just started rolling from there and it got to a point where I didn't even have to ask Ron if he wanted to do it anymore. He just said, yeah, let's record a show every week. And so I think he stopped doing whatever he was doing back in the day. But he wasn't he wasn't on board at first. He really wasn't. And I was going to do it myself and just kind of talk. But I mean, it's so much better having him there. And what was good, the yin and the yang, is Ron has been playing these for a long time and I haven't. So you have two different points of view of these games. You get someone like me who's excited because I'm still discovering games that are new to me that have been out. Some of them been out for 20, 30, 40 years. I've never played any of the Status Pro games. And now I am. And it's like, they're not new games, but I also can play new games like season ticket baseball. So I'm thankful for that. So I'm thankful that Ron stuck with the show and we were able to put together that podcast. And I'm happy that people like the show and we get feedback on the show and we continue on. And I'm so thankful for Ron, thankful for the podcast. I'm thankful for all the people that support us on the Patreon because we really couldn't do it without that. When we get into 2020, if you remember, we were on every night here on StreamYard, just having video chats during the whole COVID thing. And I was out of work. I had no money. I mean, they shut me down. And because I was self-employed, I couldn't get anything. And so I went, good 6 months without any paycheck at all. And I was like, what's going on here? And I said, Ron, I don't know what I can do with the podcast, but I says, the bill's coming up. And, it costs money to host all the shows. And it says, now we got a year's worth of shows up and we got to think about what we're going to do here. And so, we you guys stepped up and basically paid the bill so I could keep all the shows up. Now we have 188 or 189 shows. I forget what it is now. And they're all stored. And, that's why we can, keep them up there is because of that. So I'm thankful for all you people that are helping the show. And also to the listeners. I mean, we looked back in the day, we were excited when we got 200 listens. We'd go to the Spreaker statistics and it was like, Ron, we got 200 listens on the last show. And we were celebrating. We were like cracking champagne. We had 200 people that wanted to listen to the show. And now we get close to 1,000. And it might even be more than that. I haven't checked in a while, but we were getting, maybe 1,000 listens between YouTube and Spreaker. We get about 1,000 listens. And when we have guests on, we even do better than that sometimes. We really do. And so really thankful for that. Thankful for this channel that I was able just to take this channel, and I didn't know what I was doing with YouTube back in the day. I got a little bit of hockey on there, a little bit of music, a little bit of this, and it's kind of morphed into more of my gaming channel here. But I looked up the other day. I have over 2,000 subscribers to the channel. I remember when I had 200 and I thought I was doing good. I was like, man, I get 200 subscribers. Like I thought this is great, And now here this channel grows, and it just, there's a lot of things on the channel here. I mean, I get different things. Basically, this channel is me. It's not so much Digital to Dice as it is me, and Digital to Dice is a big part of me. But you'll see a lot of different things on this channel from time to time. I like doing reviews of products, and I want to do more of those. I want to go back and do some classic video games here. The old, NHL 94 and things like that. I want to get some footage of that up there and talk about that because that was part of me back in the day and the whole bit. So you'll probably see some different things coming up here in the channel. And it's not to grow the channel. It's a way for me to kind of, express myself and get my creativity out. Let me just go back to the chat here for I continue on, by the way. But anyway, where are we here now? And Doug says, nothing like being able to play a game. It helps take your mind off the other things in life. See, that's exactly it. And I'm so thankful that these games are there and I can do that, And Philip's thankful for his daughter. Congratulations. That's awesome. And it's soothing therapy. It really is. It really is. Michael chimes in, says, thankful for channels like mine. It got me back into tabletop games. It got you through the last 9 months of dealing with bladder cancer. Thankfully now I'm cancer free. All right, that's awesome. That's what we want to hear, and tonight I'm having my struggles, and I don't know where that's going to lead. But I do want to, say thanks to a lot of things that are going on. Sometimes you just got to stop, and that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm kind of stopping tonight and realizing that even though I had some bad news this week, but I just want to, there's so many other good things that I want to be thankful for, And Doug, yeah, thankful for this community. I did that community chat. This is probably part 2 of that community chat that I did a few weeks ago, and so that's kind of what this is here. Thank you. Yeah, Ron does a great job here on the channel. Yes, he does. Ben stops by, and Michael stopped by here. And yes, as he said, it's fun to listen to someone who gets so much enjoyment from the hobby. I still am. I still am. Even when I have my moments when I get mad at something, if I get mad at a game I play, or if I whatever, we all do. We take these games somewhat serious sometimes, and when things don't go well, either our team loses, or we're struggling playing a game, we can't figure it out. I mean, there's just frustrations that happen, when we play these games sometimes. I mean, especially if you're trying a new game, you're not used to it or something like that. The games you play over and over and over, that's not the issue. But sometimes it can be frustrating. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, it's very enjoyable. It really is, and that's why I kind of switched from video games to tabletop gaming, or PC sports sim gaming, is because the tabletop game was so intense. You got the controller and you're trying to hit the buttons, and my problem was I couldn't hit the buttons fast enough. So I don't know if I was terrible at these games, probably because I couldn't hit the button at the right time. And it just wasn't fun anymore. And that was frustrating because it's on you. It's like, you physically can't do this. You're terrible. Now, when I play these games, I mean, the only physical thing I do is rolling dice. And if I drops on the floor, you can get mad. But, it's not like you're not rolling the dice fast enough. You know what I mean? Andrew's stopping by here, and he likes listening to the old episodes. That's kind of cool. Thank you. And yeah, the community is an inspiration. We draw inspiration from everybody. Is what we do. PJet stops by. And PJet, I was talking about you and how I had the Minnesota North Stars right on top of the table there last night. That was kind of funny that you were talking about it, and I pulled out the 75 season. And that's kind of what I was talking about here in the beginning. If you missed it, I was like, I'm so thankful that I can play the 2022 season, or I can play 1974, and I can play Maniago and Lepresti, and I think this is the year after Gump Worsley retired, so I have to go back to play the Gump Worsley. But that is just so cool that I'm thankful for the game developers that develop these games. I think I've already talked about that, and the listeners here, and the people that come in the chat. I mean, this nights that I really look forward to coming on here and talking to you guys. Whether I'm playing a game or whether just doing a chat like this, this is kind of my, this is my version of sitting at a bar with a beer, and chatting with people. Is coming on here and you guys come on and we chat, and we talk about things, and and Al had the chat with Al's going for a while. He's bringing those back from time to time. His life has changed a little bit, but he still does those from time to time, and those are fun because we can all just sit back and kind of chat about what's going on with the games that we play, And John, thanks for coming by here, John. And Jeremy, again, watching the videos and listening to the podcast has been great therapy. Yeah, and I appreciate that because somebody just rang the doorbell. Now, I don't know who's ringing the doorbell at 8:00 at night, but my dogs are going nuts. So that's what you're hearing right there. But anyway, so there's just so much things that's positive about this in this community and what we do in the podcast and in the whole bit. And one thing I decided to do too. Yeah, did you hear all the dogs? Hopefully the wife will get the door. Hopefully it's not for me. Hang on one sec. No one's called my name yet, so. So if it's for me, I might have to jump out and I'll come back later because I have a surprise guest. I don't know who'd be ringing my doorbell at 8:00 at night. Somebody's here. Oh, hang on. Oh, all's quiet now. You guys heard that? That was nuts. Who was it? Okay. So I guess it was the name. The neighbor was looking for a package that was delivered to us by mistake. So we were going to bring it over in the morning, but so that's all it was. So false alarm. You know, everything's okay. The dog took care of him. Yeah. Oh man, they don't have a warrant for me. I don't know. That was weird though. He scared the crap out of me. I hit the doorbell. He went from under my desk to upstairs in like 1.5 seconds. But everything's good. Everything's fine. The wife took care of it. She was in bed actually. I'm like, oh man, I can't leave now. But anyway, so just talking about, you know, trying to do some fun. I want to do some fun things on the channel here. So going forward, I decided I'm going to stop playing my guitar again. I don't know why I've been itching to play my guitar, and I think this week kind of pushed me over the edge. I said, you know something, I need to stop playing my guitar again. So you'll probably see some music videos on here at some point of me just kind of jamming out my guitar, maybe a review. I have an amplifier that I did an unboxing probably about 8 years ago, and I never did a follow up with a sound test on that amplifier. So I think I will do that video. I did buy a big green screen. I had a green screen, but it was so small, I had to put it like right behind me and creep the camera in because it just wasn't wide enough. So I bought a wide green screen. So I'm kind of hoping what I can do is put a green screen up and then, you know, have my guitar in front of that and then put it in the background and create a neat little video, you know, and I'm just going to play along with some songs, and maybe I'll just kind of jam and do whatever. But so I want to play guitar again. I want to get back to doing that. And you're probably going to see some music videos here. So if you're not into that stuff, again, just skip by it here, but it'll probably show up here. So you'll see me playing something and reviewing something on the whole bit. I was even looking at maybe getting a new guitar, kind of like when you buy a new game or new season here, it inspires you. I found one that was like less than $200 and it got a good review. So I might get down to the store and try it out. For, you know, for a couple $100, you know, I wouldn't mind doing something like that. Or maybe I'll trade in one of my old guitars and that I don't play as much. But so I want to do that again. I've been listening to a lot of music lately. I usually listen to a lot of YouTube stuff, but I've been listening to a lot of music lately, and I really want to kind of get back into music because that was another thing I was thankful for, was the ability to play guitar and bass, and I did some singing as well. And I always wanted to make a song from start to finish. I got the drum stuff here. I can do the drums. I can do the bass, the guitar, the keyboards, and I can sing a little bit. And I always wanted to do a song, and I never did. I just never did. So I think that's something that's going to be on my list of things to do, is to do some music stuff as well. So be on the lookout for that, or be on the hideout for that. Whatever you think. I'm also thankful, you know, that I'm still able to play hockey at my age, and because I'm getting up there now, I'm closer to 60 than I am 50. And there were two guys today that played ice hockey. Actually, you know, I was refereeing a game, and it was a guy that was 69, and it was a guy that was 72, 73, who's still playing. And again, they're old and slow like me, but you know, God bless them, they're still playing. And one of them today said, "Look," I said, "you're an inspiration." I said, "Whether you know it or not, you are." I says, "Because I didn't know how long I was going to play hockey." And I says, "Now, if you're playing into your 70s, I got to keep going." And he's like all trim and thin. He's like, "Oh, I do the Peloton and I run races." And I'm like, "Okay, well, that's what I need to do." So I need to really make a push to get back to exercising so I can play hockey until I'm 70. That, you know, that's really what I'm thinking. So I bought some skates, some better skates, and I'm kind of hoping now that I bought the better skates, it's going to force me to keep playing. So I'm doing a lot of things to kind of psychologically play with myself. So, you know, if I get some skates and I get a guitar, I'm going to be skating and playing guitar is what I'm hoping to do. And I need to push myself into doing these things instead of just sitting around, you know, when I'm not working, just kind of, you know, watching the TV or watching the YouTube. And not that I mind that, it's fun. But I need to do some more creative things. And so I think that's kind of what I'm going to do. I'm really looking forward to actually the music thing. I really, really am. Yeah, was it a land shark? I don't know. Was it a San Jose shark? Yeah. Dawn, ding dong, Avon. You know. Yeah, right. You know. Um, and PJ says there was an article some years back of a woman in her 70s playing ice hockey. I did see that. I did see that. I saw something about a woman that was playing in late in her years. So I mean, good for her. There's a guy that I saw up in Canada. He's 90 and he's still playing. Now, obviously, you're not keeping up, but I mean, just the idea that he's getting dressed and getting out. Sometimes getting dressed is half the battle. It's just getting your skates on and putting all the equipment on. It's like, oh my gosh, this is tiring. It is. P-Jet said he stopped playing at 42, too many injuries. Well, that's the thing is I don't play very hard anymore at all. I skated 3 hours last Tuesday and my foot, the bottom of my foot swelled up and it's still sore, 10 days later. So that's most of my injuries just come from overuse, the tendonitis in my shoulder. Like I still can't quite lift this arm up all the way because that's what I play hockey with. That's my stick holding hand, So I'm hoping to play for at least 4 or 5 more years. So these skates, the last set of skates I bought lasted me 5 years. I just checked. They were really good skates and they lasted me 5 years because I bought them in 18. So these should last me 5 and that'll get me up to over 60 years old. So I'm kind of hoping that's how it goes. Join Gordie Howe. Yeah. Let me tell you, Doug, when I get to be about 40, 45 years old, right? That's when you start waking up in the morning feeling sore after playing hockey. And I'm looking at that saying, Gordie Howe is 50 years old playing in the NHL. Okay, I'm 45 just playing some bang-up hockey, right, with a bunch of other people who are as bad as myself, and I'm sore. And I'm like, how at 50 years old did he do it? I don't know how he did it at 50 years old. I mean, that's just in the NHL at that level. That's just impressive, I got to say. I'm not the biggest Gordie Howe fan. I don't know why. Just wasn't the biggest Gordie Howe fan. You got to respect what he did, and I respected how long he played, that's for sure. Maybe because he was just kind of a dirty old school player, and I'm not a big dirty old school player. I like the Oras and the Middletons and guys like that. Yeah, I like the creative people rather than the people who are elbowing you and stuff like that. But yeah, so much. I'm so glad that he played that long, and it gives me yeah, nobody wants to get near Gordie's elbows. Gordie, nobody wants to do that. I get it. Ben says, "Am I going to play some Rush?" I might. Obviously, I can't do any of that stuff live because they flagged that immediately. I was going to play something tonight, but I didn't want to get flagged for anything. So that'll all be stuff I'll record and probably edit down in the whole bit. Actually, who was it? It was Ed Klingenberg. He does a lot of music on his channel. And Ed put out a song. It was like a 2 or 3 minute song. And I told him, I said, Ed, I'm going to download that and I'm going to put some lyrics to it. And I still might go back and download that and put some music to it and see what he thinks. But it'd be kind of fun to put some lyrics to the Ed song there. But I still wanted to do a song, and I just never put my, I gotta relearn how to do the drums again because I was getting pretty good at that. Now I can't figure that out, so I'd have to relearn how to program the drums for the song, and then I have to write the song and the whole bit. But yeah, I want to get back into the music. I do. I get the real itch now to play again. So in fact, maybe tonight later on, I'll take my guitar and plug it in and see if I can make some noise with that over my headphones. That's the great thing about the headphones now. You can play all night and you don't bug anybody. Yeah. I used to play Limelight almost all the way through. I never really learned the whole solo, but I could play the rhythm all the way through. And Bastille Day, I played a lot of like the rhythm parts. I used to play the intro to the Trees pretty well. I could play that pretty well. The thing is, I grew up with Rush, and I really like Rush. But the only problem with Rush, it's so damn complicated. Like we never played Rush in any of the bands. I mean, maybe Working Man that we kind of mucked our way through. You know what I mean? But I mean, I never found a bass player or a drummer that could play Rush, and I couldn't play the guitar part of Rush. And when I switched over to bass, we tried to play Tom Sawyer. I was like, I can't play Tom Sawyer on the bass. I just couldn't do it. It just, I wasn't that good. P-Jet played bass in a Rush fan jam in 08 and 09. It's on YouTube. I will have to go check that out. Is that on your channel, P-Jet? I'll have to check that out. It's Getty P-Jet. Yep. Yeah. Oh yes, Rush is very hard to play. It is very hard to play. And Doug's a Pink Floyd guy. I never get into Floyd. Floyd just didn't do it for me. I don't know why. Pink Floyd just didn't do it for me. And never did. Now I hear the songs on the radio, and that's okay. But yeah, I wasn't a big Floyd guy. But um, yeah. So anyway, I just kind of wanted to jump on tonight, and just it was these cards here that inspired me. It was the idea that I can play modern seasons and I can play the '70s, and I'm really excited about that. Um, that I can play just about any season I want, any player I want, and I still get a thrill when I pull out a season of like especially a classic season. It's like, I mean, I got Bobby Orr out here, you know, and it's every time Bobby Orr gets the puck, it just brings a smile to your face when you're playing these games, and I'm slowly making my way to the modern stuff. Um, like I want to play the Bruins, but I don't want to play the Bruins, because they had the good season, but they choked it away. But I'd be interested. I'm going to play the Bruins, Vegas. I'll play those. I got them in the hockey balls. I'm just waiting for the print to come in from my friend there because I bought the PDF, and I'm gonna probably get when Apple comes out with that season. I'll get it too. So I'm gonna play Boston Vegas finals just for my own curiosity. I'll probably play Toronto Vegas as well, and then maybe Boston Edmonton and Toronto Edmonton. So I'm gonna do a lot of what if Stanley Cups from this year's playoffs is what I'm gonna do. Maybe Edmonton, Florida. Maybe because I'd like to see how Edmonton would do, Toronto and Boston. So those are the teams I'm really kind of interested in playing. So yeah, so I'm slowly making my way into the modern day stuff. In fact, I was going back looking at the last time Washington was in there against Detroit, I think it was, and they had Oates and a whole bunch Joey Juno and a whole bunch of guys like that. They got swept 4-0. But I was like, that might be a fun one to play too. So I always kind of poo-pooed anything after 95 when it came to hockey. It wasn't my thing. 2001 Ray Bourque really kind of ended the hockey for me. And even then from 95 to 2001 was like, But I guess that's just kind of how it progresses. I mean, I started with hockey games and then I played football games. And now I knew once I hit baseball, there's 100 baseball games to play. So that's kind of where I am now is I'm enjoying all these baseball games and trying all these baseball games. In fact, there's a new hockey game I saw on Delphi that I'm probably going to go and check this out right after this. Is the Inside Games people, Chris Shablin, is that his name? He created a new hockey game, so I got to go download the demo and try it out. It's a quick play game, so I'm going to check that out tonight. So yeah, I'm thankful that I got a new hockey game that I'm going to be playing maybe later on tonight if I can figure out how to play it. So many things like that. So and John says he's working on a 77 MLB season. Well, that's kind of cool. I like 78. 77 is good too. And Hockey Fan 76 says 1920 is the most modern season that he's played that came with Strat when he bought it. Yep. I think I skipped Strat last season, but I'll pick it up this year. And 95, 96 was the last year he was interested. Yeah, see, you and me about the same. We kind of ran out of steam right about there is what it was. But anyway, so to wrap up, so I got some medical things possibly going on here that really bummed me out. But when I cut out my shootout cards last night, I was just all excited about that. I was like, I got to be thankful for what I have here. Thankful for the games I play. Thankful for the podcast and, and Ron and everyone that listens to the show and everybody that supports the show, financially to help us pay the bills to keep that going. Everybody that tunes in here to my chats and my games on YouTube and, responds to me when I reply to their videos. So just thankful for all that stuff there. And yeah, I'm just getting the itch to go back and play some guitar. I'm kind of hoping that that'll go well for me, and I'll shake off the rust. It's been a while, but I'll shake off the rust and go back and just jam and have some fun. And who knows what's going to go from there. So again, you might see me playing some guitar or some bass here on the channel in the next few weeks and having some fun with that. So anyway, hey, I'm Dave, and just some things I'm thankful for. And what are some things you're thankful for? Feel free to go in the comment section and list some things that you're thankful for there. Again, we're all getting older. Our bodies are kind of taking a beating here. And, sometimes things don't go your way, but we got to keep a stiff upper lip and we got to try to soldier on and, and enjoy these things. And some days more than others, you realize, this is good. I'm thankful for these things that are going on right now, despite any of the bad things. So, all right, I'm Dave, and I will oh yeah, Doug, lose myself in cards and dice like a tie up. Yep, that's what I got to do. Is just, yep, like Doug says, keep a positive attitude. And Andrew says he's been there with, yep, medical issues. Yep, it is. And you're lucky, yeah, your wife supports your gaming desire. Yet mine doesn't take an interest into it, but she doesn't discourage me or encourage me. She lets me do what I want to do, and including coming down here and doing a chat on a Friday night. So, all right, we'll talk to everybody later. I don't know, maybe I'll play some shootout tonight. I don't know. Maybe I'll do some of my what ifs again. But hey, I'm Dave. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to everybody later. Bye bye.